Good morning and welcome back to another flip through. This is Todd from Todd Young Online. Today I've got another mid-90s Canson Spiral that I used so much and carried around that the cover fell off. Looks like maybe there are some, when I went back through it in 2000s to do some updates on some of the character designs. Just looking through these, I keep like mentally trying to tell my previous self doing these and it's something I keep kind of going back to, but just some advice for my old self and my current self is, just focus your intention on what you're doing first. Make sure you understand what you're doing. I say that because, a lot of these I use the whole page, just throwing it down. Some of them are smaller, but understand what you're going to work on first or what you want to do first. Start with your composition, work with some thumbnails and gesture, and then build your foundations to help you be a little bit more, what am I trying to say? Be a little bit more deliberate in your actions and a little bit more efficient when you draw. So you're not just using up the whole page needlessly. I've developed a peeve about wasting space, so, and especially when I look back on these and it's like, you could have, you should have, it could have been better. It should have been better, but it was as good as it was going to get for that point. I see a lot of these themes and characters as I was trying to come up with characters for some comic book ideas that I wanted to do. And it's one of those things where I was trying to do everything myself, and a lot of times have really gotten myself kind of pigeonholed into trying to do everything myself. When working with people didn't work out, then I got some things from my daughter when she was like 3 in here too. So those are kind of cute, but is it lowbrow? The unrefined, just the nakedness of these characters and how rough they were. Yeah, I get a little bit better sometimes, working with cloth and trying to figure that out, and clothing, and still am working at that and need better reference to do that. Sometimes reference is the way. I envy the people that can really do this from, have done it so much that they now, have that vocabulary. I don't have that yet. To be able to, pick a pose and do it. And I'm still working towards being able to do that better, understanding, the anatomy and muscles, and being able to make things look the way I want. And if they don't, how to lean into that and make it look coherent. So it's just, sorry, I get lost watching these sometimes. A lot of these were using reference from comic books and poses that I saw. Some were trying to pull it out of my head. At one point it was, I felt like, if I didn't do it myself, then it wasn't original. But at some point we're really derivative anyway. So it's just what you do, putting your spin on that update. Oh my goodness. Some of it's not too bad. Some of it's not too great, but some of it's, all of it's a starting point. And that's one thing that I've taken into my professional side too, is that, you're not going to to try not to sound corny or anything, but it's not going to be perfect. It's rarely going to be perfect, but if you just at least get it down first, you can go back to it and have a starting point of, being able to redo it. So some of these are just really big and detailed thumbnails. I'm trying to figure out what else I wanted to say, because really I've been trying to pull my stuff together. I've got a few of these. I was using Canson for a while, and then started liking like the hardcover sketchbooks you can get at like Dick Blick and wherever. And I felt like those gave it a little bit more credibility and kind of coolness when you've got a hardcover book full of your artwork on the shelf. Trying to find a place a little bit more persistent to put my work, to collect my work. Whereas my website at toddyoungonline.com, I've, kind of put a link to everything, but platforms, I feel like YouTube, if I stop paying for my web space, my website goes away. But if I post things on YouTube, I feel like there's a little bit more permanence to them, that YouTube's probably going to outlast me if they do it right. I think we're at a point where these platforms are like Facebook, and are going to be around a while. Hopefully they've learned their lessons. So it's kind of cool to be able to put your stuff out there and have it outlast you. That, not everything gets conserved and hung in a museum. So now the internet has given us all an accessible place, and it feels like there should be more of a allocation of space for us to, if we want to, leave our legacy, to put our lives out there, and it more than just a tombstone in the ground somewhere and wonder who you were. It's like, here I was, here's my work, here's what I did, here are my pictures, here are my videos, here's, basically my life. And sometimes I got things right, and sometimes I got things wrong. I really enjoy now Instagram and YouTube and all of the artists that share their work, and you can doing their live stuff and contributing to the greater part of that you can learn from them. I've watched Rodgon, I think his name is Rodgon, and a bunch of other artists. He just pops to my mind because I always kind of see him on, I think, Instagram and maybe TikTok, doing live things and following along. And I love how he fills up a page with thumbnails and doing things. And I, as a person who compositionally, I like white space, but if I'm sitting down and drawing and I kind of like composing a page full of just stuff, even though it doesn't look like it here. Oh my goodness. But all of these experiments and going back and reminding myself that I was getting better. You gotta, create the one thing that I've kind of come to remind myself lately is that, creativity and imagination are muscles that you need to keep working with, that you need to keep working out in whatever medium. Sometimes having time to sit down and draw, and being an artist like this, is a luxury that, sometimes you just don't have, other parts of your day just run into it and you don't have that time. But being able to exercise your creativity and imagination in whatever job you find yourself in, finding ways to improve and problem solve, and that's what, like comic books and storytelling, that's what it is, like writing your story out and then visually contrasting that to the words, making it compelling or as compelling as you can, and then moving on to the next thing. But if you don't do it, it's hard to get back into it. It's like, you see it all over the internet, and there's a community of people that are trying to get back into their creative side because, for whatever reason, they lost the time and or the energy to work on their stuff. So sometimes it just comes to reminding yourself what you've done, that you have done something, and that it all matters, even if it's just to yourself, that everything you do has some value to your expansion and growth as an artist and as a person and whatever. So for me, it's just sitting down, and if it doesn't necessarily look like I wanted it to, why not? And then can I lean into the wrongness of that and keep pushing it to make it right? You know what I mean? Because I've said this in other videos. I think it was Eric Larson said, your style is everything you do wrong. Or I forget if he was the one, but I am crediting him for saying that you develop your way of doing things and of visualizing the human anatomy and of storytelling and getting your point across, and it becomes recognizable after a while as you keep doing it and building on it, and you keep evolving, and you just have to keep doing it. And like anything else, that's what I keep telling myself. It's like each project I do, all right, you got that one done. Now, how can you make it better next time? And I've been working on the podcast, youngtales.fun, if you're interested, or I also posted on the YouTube channel, on both YouTube channels, one for Young Tales and the other for toddyoungonline.net, as well as I try and link everything back to toddyoungonline.com. I've been trying to do more streaming with gaming. I've got so many games. I've got so many, and it's like just trying to find the time to do everything. But at least finding the time to doing something is I think more important, and you end up prioritizing based on what you're enjoying the most. So looks like I'm coming to the end of another sketchbook. All my little derivative characters, photocopies of old paintings. Like I said, 2003, it looked like I was kind of onto something a little bit better. I think I'm still, right now I usually use more reference to do my stuff, but I have, there was some, I was doing some figure studies, another piece by my daughter, and then a piece that shows up in another sketchbook that I made a copy of. And that's another one. I really appreciate all your support watching these. I hope you get something out of them and enjoy them. And there will be more. Thank you and have a great day. See you soon. Bye.